All right, it's time for yet another fabulous Sunday night news and nonsense. And tonight's episode is brought to you by Manjaro Linux. That's because both Todd today and I are both running Manjaro. Tell me, how is Manjaro working out for you?
Boy, I never thought we would be the Manjaro Linux tag team of wrestling. It's working. I have to admit, I don't use it every day, admittedly, but I'm using it now, and
what?
Yeah,
You don't use it every day? Blasphemy! Blasphemy!
That's our show, folks. We'll catch you next week. Bye. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, it works, so I'm happy.
Awesome. Well, here's something. Before we were talking, I was asking Toss about his Xbox and everything, and I says, the next thing we got to see in one of Toss's videos is Toss actually hacking the Xbox so that he can install Linux on it. And in related news, it turns out Sony settles with PS3 owners over Linux lawsuits. Now, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but when the PlayStation 3 released, I believe it was in 2006, they had support for other OSs, which would allow people to install Linux on their PlayStation 3. Well, a few years later, Sony disabled the feature in a software update, claiming it was necessary to fight piracy. Ha! Bull snot! After years of court battles, Sony has now agreed to a settlement worth millions of dollars. But here's the kicker. You can get $55 from this, but you have to prove, it's only $55. You have to prove that, you were running Linux on your PlayStation 3, yada, yada, yada. Or you could get $9 if you had that earlier model that had it, but you never used it. So that's, now a judge has to approve it, but at least it's something. But this is a major thing because a number of people bought these devices because that was a feature, that was a selling point, and that, they had that other OS feature, and then all of a sudden they decide to shut it off in the name of piracy. I don't think so. What do you think, Toss?
Well, now that it's settled, Spatsy, I'll sleep much better tonight. Thank you. It's a joke, of course. Well, here's what I think is going to happen. They're probably going to settle, say, for $3 million, and the lawyers get $2.9 million of it or more, and you get what's left, the handouts of $50-some, right?
$2.5 million are going to the lawyers, and they don't even know how to spell Linux.
Do they even know what Linux is?
See, that's the thing. Yeah.
Well, it's all part of doing business, I suppose. I don't know.
What you got, Toss?
Well, let's see. What do I have? Your favorite subject, Microsoft. They're going to end production, apparently, on the Surface 3. I believe, Patrick, this was the low-cost.
Goodbye and good riddance. Go ahead.
This came out last year. I figured you were going to say that. But this was the entry-level tablet for the masses. They're going to stop making it by this year. I haven't seen anything about anything to replace it. Now, I played with one. It was actually very nice. Not a bad machine for what it does, but it'll be gone. So if you really, really got to have one of these, get it before the end of the year.
If the thing is, I had them locked down, though, so you couldn't install, like, Ubuntu on them or anything like that. I remember a lot of people raised a stink about that. But then they eventually did come out with some hacks and that sort of thing. I don't know. It's iffy kind of thing.
I played with it briefly. Looked at it. It was like one of those combo things where you got the keypad and you can disconnect the actual tablet. I mean, it wasn't bad, but I mean, I'm probably not going to buy one because I don't need it. But for what it did and what it was, I guess it was okay.
I wonder if they're going to replace it with another mobile device or if they're just going to have Nokia make them.
Oh, that should be a winner.
Okay, Toss. You know that little war between RPM and deb packages, right? Well, you know what's coming in the future of Linux, right? It's now going to be a war of snap packages versus flat packs.
Snap to it.
Well, Canonical does the snap packages, okay, and I actually took a look at them. the thing, here's what I didn't like. Okay, you in order to actually uninstall a package, you would actually have to disable the service and shut off the service before you can even uninstall the packages. And what it does is it makes these loop points. Okay. Basically for sandboxing, and I imagine Flatpaks are going to do the same thing. Phil Mueller from Manjaro asked that I look at it sometime this week. I'll try, if I have the time, to look at the Flatpaks so I can have a comparison between the two. I assume they work similarly, but I'm thinking, geez, what if you have like 100 Flatpaks installed? Are you going to have all these different loop points running on your system? Because we all know you can run Linux for days and weeks and months on end, and you could have your entire system resources gobbled up because all of these services that systemd are running just to sandbox these individual applications. While there's some good ideas there, I don't know, and I have yet to look at Flatpaks. I haven't touched them yet, and when I make my video, I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm just going to install it and try it out on the camera live. You're going to see me using it for the very first time, and I'm going to give my what for on it, just like I did I played with the Snap Packs, but I only did it once, and then once or twice, and then I did the filming. But with the Flatpaks, I think I'm just gonna, do it as a first-time user, newbie kind of thing, and see where it goes from there, and see if there's a comparison. Canonical does the Snap Packs. Red Hat does the Flatpaks.
Yeah.
Pretty much the same thing. They're available across all the different Linux distributions now, and it just means for developers to package their software. Yada, yada, yada. Have you tried any of these yet?
I tried testing the waters with Ubuntu. I wanted to see if Kden Live was available as a snap package. It is not. Now, we talked about it last week. In theory, it sounds great, and I think this is the future, to have some semblance of standardized quality among the apps, among all the different distributions. That way you're pretty much, I hate to say guaranteed, but almost guaranteed an app you will download will work, after downloading will work, and you install it, will work in your specific Linux desktop. You don't have that now. And if there's one thing that's always been annoying about the Linux desktop, as wonderful as it is, I just never know when a specific app that I use, I just never know if it's going to work or not, as when it did in the previous version of that specific Linux distro. But this may solve that. We shall see.
Yeah. Now, I had somebody leave a really, really nasty comment on my YouTube channel, and of course the filters blocks us out. But I'll give you a gist of what he was basically saying. Basically, his fear was that these snap packages or Flatpaks or whatever are basically the same thing that that Windows is flawed in that when you have a Windows installer, a lot of times with the Windows installer, it has all the software included with it, and installs everything. And he was basically saying something to the effect of, turning Linux into another Windows. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. My only question is, like I said, if you have 50 Flatpaks and 50 snap packages installed in your system, how many extra resources is your box going to be using up and that sort of thing just to run these packages, especially if you don't reboot your computer all the time? Theoretically, it's supposed to be one service. I'm not sure how that works, but when I run LSBlock, I could see that there is a mounted loop point for each individual application, and that's got to use up something as well. I'm not sure. I admit I'm not the most knowledgeable person here. I have to do a little bit more research on that end and find out. But there are some mild concerns there. That's all I'm saying.
Spatcher, your mic was cutting out just a wee bit, but let me just say this as far as what I think I was trying to catch from what you were saying. It's new. Give it at least 6 months, a year, and then we'll see what happens then. I mean, this is brand new. It's something that was talked about, I believe, 6 months ago, and it's just being implemented now, I believe, in the 16.04 Ubuntu family of distros. So it's new. It may turn out to be bad at the end, or it may turn out to be what I hope to be perfect for the Linux desktop. Time will tell. I tested it briefly. I like what I see so far. I won't be using it now, but 6 months from now, maybe.
All right, fair enough. Your turn, Toss. What you got?
Well, we talked about gaming briefly. There is an unusual game for Android. It might be on the iOS, but it's based, believe it or not, Spatry, it's based on the History Channel's TV series Ancient Aliens. There is a game based on that.
Oh, and let me guess, it's got that guy with the whacked out hairdo on it. What's his name? That scientist they have on all the shows. He's got the whacked out hairdo and everything.
Yeah, his name is I think his name is Giorgio. Like, yeah, he's got the hairdo like he plugged his fingers like his 220 volts. But no, I don't know who this is. I haven't downloaded it, but it says here briefly: play as a reluctant alien hybrid in this climatic, story-driven city building game. Written by best-selling, award-winning game writer Stephen Elliott Altman. I must confess, I don't know the guy. It's free. Especially, this has a high rating, like 4.3 stars out of 5. Even though it sounds silly, hey, why not give it a try?
Awesome, and it's for Linux, right?
It's Android, of course, which is based off of Linux.
Android, yeah.
Yeah, do a search. I just caught this today. I will test it on one of my Android tablets, and maybe I'll have a report on this next week. So, yeah.
All right, not a problem. Get this, Toss. You're gonna trip when you hear this one.
Uh-oh.
Apparently, Manjaro is gaining some credibility as a beginner's OS because in a ZDNet report of all things, in an article by J.A. Watson, Linux recommendations for a novice, trying out Linux Mint, Manjaro, and PC Linux OS. And I it's quite a lengthy article here, but he actually indicated all the pros of using all three of them. And I just found that quite interesting.
I saw that.
That Manjaro is now actually getting credibility as a beginner-friendly distribution. So apparently, I'm not as crazy as you all thought I was.
Well,
How do you like me now, Toss?
Let me just say that I saw the article. I am using Manjaro, and I think I told you this last month. I would give you my honest opinion based as a dual booter. In my tests, strictly in my test, not the other guy's test, I don't believe that Manjaro is quite ready for the absolute novice. It's getting there. I think they mentioned PC Linux OS. I'm not even sure about. All right, I'm not even sure about that one. I actually have that. I have that in my other laptop that's like 12 years old. It works. Now, the other one was what? Linux Mint. I can see that one. As far as Manjaro, it's almost there for a novice, but not quite. I mean, come on. You know that I installed it. I couldn't even play a freaking CD. I CD. You're like, well, who plays CDs? That's it. Start a war now. Go ahead.
All righty then. Okay. It appears. Did you know that earlier this week Apple unveiled its iOS 10?
Yes, I was jumping for joy yesterday. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it appears that what happened was there was a surprising lurking within the preview of iOS 10 an unencrypted kernel, the very core of Apple's mobile operating system. And apparently, Apple has responded because some people were questioning this, and Apple has responded by saying that this was actually intentional, that they did want to, and let me see if I can find the code here. By unencrypting the kernel, we're able to optimize the operating system's performance without compromising security. So this is a legitimate thing. I couldn't believe it when I read this, Toss, because Apple having anything open? Are you nuts?
Yeah.
So, yeah, apparently that's true.
The world is a-changing, isn't it?
It certainly is. All I've got left is nonsense news. What about you, Toss?
Yeah, one last thing. The latest Peppermint OS, I believe it's number 7, has been released. I think it's based off Ubuntu 16.04. It's lightweight. I believe some of the guys who used to work on Linux Mint run this OS. I tested it once some time ago. It's very lightweight, very fast. If you have an older machine, check out the latest Peppermint OS.
I did an ISO watch video on that the day before yesterday. It's not a review, of course, but I did basically do a video demonstration showing it in use. And basically, Peppermint 7 is what I consider to be an XFCE/LXDE hybrid. It has a number of applications on it which are cloud-based, and it uses ICE, which is a single-site browser system, which basically, it just shows a single web page, and then it has the application embedded in it, and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's a good-looking OS, not something I would use as a daily driver personally, but I've always liked what they bring to the table. They've got some good ideas. It is lightweight, so people who like the Ubuntu base and want something a little bit different, it's definitely worth having a look.
Cool.
All
All
right.
right. So, yeah, if you have, I just have one piece of kind of nonsense news, but if you want to go first, go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead. If yours is legit, bring it on.
Yeah, this isn't really news, but Spatchy, today I saw one of the commercials for the next Star Trek movie. I know you're a Star Trek fan, if I recall.
Oh, tell me about it.
Yeah. Well, it isn't really based on the commercial, but about some weeks ago, I listened to NPR radio, and they had a repeat. They had a special guest. They had Sir Patrick Stewart, of course, the Shakespearean actor who played, Jean-Luc Picard on Star Trek Next Generation, right?
Correct.
Okay, so they had him on. This was recorded out in New York. So they had a game show thing going on. They asked Patrick, very classic actor, they asked him to read the verse of the lyrics to a song, and the person there had to guess the song. So Patrick was asked to read the song in his classically trained voice. So I will do the verse, and let's see if you can guess it. Okay?
Okay.
All right, here we go. I will try to do Patrick Stewart's voice. She was a fast machine. She kept her motor clean. She was the best John. Yeah, exactly.
You shook me all night long by AC/DC.
Exactly, but the last line, let me finish. I knew you would love it, but the last line says, knocking me out with those American thighs.
You don't even sound like him.
I don't, but he read it off like it was a porno flick. But wait, the best part, the host, she says, so Patrick, tell me, what's the difference between American and British thighs? Oh, the difference is huge. I thought that was cute. Yeah.
Say, I got to ask you: are you leaning more towards a Republican or Democrat in this upcoming joke of an election?
What a year for politics! Look, I'll admit it. I was a Bernie man. I was feeling the burn. You know what I mean? But it's boy. One of my friends said, I want to vote for Trump. Well, good. You have this November, you'll have a chance to vote between a BITCH and a former first lady.
This is true. This is nonsense news, but this is also true. Angry Scots troll Donald Trump, the GOP presidential nominee, at his Trump Turnberry golf resort during his grand opening ceremony. Protesters greeted him with golf balls emblazoned with swastikas, a symbol synonymous with Nazi Germany, at the opening of the course.
Oh, my.
I'll tell you what, he deserves it.
You know,
Well,
yeah.
what's really funny, Toss, is even earlier this week I was reading an article said I think the British Prime Minister says if he gets elected, they're going to ban him from even going into England.
Oh, boy.
Oh goodness! I'm telling you, top that one, Toss.
I can't. I just had that one, but look, I was born in New York, so I get the attitude. You have this thing going. You can fix things. You can make things better. I get where Trump is coming at in the beginning, but as time went on, from New Yorker to New Yorker to Trump, I want to say, dude, calm the bleep down, and it got worse. So that's when he lost me. Yeah.
Your turn. You got any news?
No, that's all I had. Just that Star Trek thing.
Oh.
I figured you would like it. So yeah.
Okay. All right. This is one I think this is a real crappy one, Toss. I think you're going to love this.
Here it comes, folks.
It seems that at least one fan wore a poop-eating grin for real after the Cavaliers won the NBA championship. As pointed out by Cleveland.com, this guy picks up what appears to be horse manure during Wednesday's victory parade in Cleveland and plops it into his mouth. He then tosses a clump into the air and catches it in his mouth as if it were a gumdrop. Observers are both repelled and entertained, just as well. I saw the video clip. Somebody recorded it from their cell phone. I couldn't believe it, but yeah, somebody actually did that.
Well, there you go. There you go, folks. Another high quality Sunday night, an impressive Sunday night news and nonsense. We've gone to the crapper. Thank you.
Okay, well, you have talked about a father who took a helicopter to loosen his, to remove his son's loose tooth.
That had nothing to do with horse dung. Come on.
Okay, well, apparently this father uses a live squirrel to pull his daughter's tooth.
What?
I kid you not. This is from the Huffington Post. When I saw this, I was like, we had to have a follow-up to pulling your children's teeth. But apparently this is true. And there's a video that goes along with it. He had this little string tied to his daughter's tooth, and the string going out, and there were a bunch of squirrels playing in the park, and there was a piece of food attached to the other end. The squirrel grabs it and goes running off with it, and out comes the tooth. And the father retrieved the string with the girl's tooth on it. Absolutely, it worked.
All I have to say is she was a fast machine. That little squirrel was a fast machine.
Shut up, Toss. Oh, wait, take us out and then shut up.
Well, once again, welcome aboard to another high-quality, impressive Sunday night news. Nonsense report here on the Cup of Linux Mumble server. Trust me, folks, the shows are usually very, very high quality, but no, join us every... On second thoughts, Battery just said it. Join us every Sunday night at 8 p.m. And you don't have to use Linux to join the show live if you choose
what?
to.
Blasphemy! Blasphemy! Of course you got... Oh, wait, I'm sorry.
Yes, that's what happens when Spatry drinks too much of that squirrel coffee. See, that's
oh, shut up. Toss, get off my Mumble server, and we'll see you next week.
Adios, muchachos.